Will Google Ads work for my business? How much is it going to cost? What kind of results am I going to see? Is it worth it? These are some of the most common questions I get asked about Google Ads from prospective clients. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a very simple tool that we use to be able to predict results that you can get from a Google Ads campaign. On my screen here, you can see a very simple spreadsheet. It's the Google Ads performance forecast that we use to basically have a look at every prospective campaign before we launch anything. And it just gives us a good idea of what potential outcomes we can expect. What we need to do to be able to use this is actually have some kind of idea of the target keywords that we're going to be going after. So you will also need Google's keyword planner. And for the sake of this particular example, I'm going after roofing-based keywords. This is an industry that we work in a fair amount. So you can see the type of keywords that we're targeting here. For this particular example, we're going after roof replacements, new roofs, new roof cost, and going after those sort of keywords. So not the repair type stuff, but brand new roof installations. So use Google Ads Keyword Planner, get an idea of the keywords that you're going to target. Have a look at the average monthly searches because you're going to need to target keywords where there's enough search volume, firstly. And what we also want to do is take a look at both the low end and the high end of what you may expect to pay in terms of CPC. Now, in terms of how we communicate this with clients, we always pick the top of page bid because when it gets to the campaign, we don't want to be surprised by having forecasted with a lower CPC, and then we find out, oh, it actually costs double that amount. So we always take the top end page bid and plug those numbers in. Really simply, there's no integrations or anything. Just write the keyword that you're targeting there, put the top of page CPC in here. What this calculation gives you is the average. So all of these different CPCs added up and then divided by 5. That gives you cost per click of £7 on average. Of course, what this forecast doesn't present to you is the traffic that you're going to get from each individual keyword, but from a overhead kind of perspective, this tool is great at just kind of giving you an idea of costs and expected returns. So just bear that in mind. So with that, you can see our average cost per click for our keywords is £7. We've assigned a monthly budget of £2,500 to come up with a budget. Just, I guess, pick what you are comfortable with spending initially. Of course, make it relevant to getting enough clicks, because what we don't want to have is your monthly budget is so low that you barely get any clicks. Set a decent sizable amount where you can get 300 plus clicks or so. So that's how we've come to that number. So based on this budget of £2,500 and an average cost per click of £7, that gives us 363 clicks to the website. And you can see here we've got our total monthly investment of £2,500. Of course, we can add in another row for agency fee so that you can understand what the complete cost is if someone's managing it for you. But we've omitted that from this spreadsheet. So if you then come down to this section here, I'm going to explain what we have. So it's one thing getting traffic, but the next phase is how much of that traffic is actually going to convert on your website or landing page into a lead. And so we've got a load of different outcomes that you can see here, all the way from 2% up to 30%. We've got them in certain increments of what we see as most common. And then on the right-hand side here, we've got different columns. You can see we've got the lead to quote column. So out of the total leads that we receive, what percentage of those actually go on to make a quote with you? And this is really important and something that most companies will forget about. They just count the total leads. Bearing in mind, not all leads provide legit information. Sometimes you can't get a hold of the lead. So we really need to understand this lead to quote percentage. And then once we've got that number, we need to understand the lead to sale percentage, because not everyone that you quote is actually going to decide to go forward with you and pay for you for your services. So we need to get some idea of benchmark numbers. You may have these already. The numbers that we're using in these formulas is based on an existing client and relatively common in the industry. Then you've got the average job value here in this column. This is around £15,000 for a full re-roof, can be a little bit lower, can often be a lot higher as well. We just take the average, usually take it on the kind of lower end of the average job values, just so that you're not kind of presenting an unrealistic scenario. We want to really forecast more on the pessimistic side of things, just so that there's no surprises. And then based off of that, we've got a total profit / operating costs. So you can actually enter in what your profit margins are in there, and then it will actually calculate your return on investment and the exact money that you make from the campaign, subtracting all the different costs involved. So if we go back to the website conversion rates, a typical average conversion rate for a lead gen campaign, especially in roofing, can be anywhere from 5 to 10%, can also be a lot higher depending on your landing page, the campaign, how long it's been running. But we want to say between 5 and 10% is pretty much the sort of benchmark numbers that we need to be hitting. So you can potentially get anywhere from 19 to 37 leads based on your £2,500 budget. Now, with a lead to quote percentage of 30%, that leaves us with anywhere from 6 up to 11 quotes. And now let's go more on a pessimistic example and let's go at 5%. So based out of 19 leads, if we have a lead to quote percentage of 30%, we can get 6 quotes. If our lead to sale is 50%, that's 3 quotes that have actually converted into paying jobs. 3 jobs at £15,000 each is £45,000 in new business. Then, of course, we need to subtract the management fee and ad spend, which you can see here, £2,500. That's where you'd also subtract the management fee as well. That leaves you with £42,000 or £42,500. Then we've got the total profit and operating costs. So if you're operating at 50%, 30%, whatever it may be, we account for that here. And here's where you can see your return on investment. Now, this is really where the spreadsheet comes into its own. You can actually tailor these numbers to be more pessimistic or more optimistic as well. So let's say, for example, the campaign and landing page are actually converting at 10%, which is actually very common in roofing, especially for stuff like roof repairs, where it's a service which people need help right now. And you'll see higher conversion rates in these type of industries. So at a conversion rate of 10%, we'll get 37 leads, 11 quotes done, 6 jobs, if you round it up from those, with a total average job value of £15,000, multiplied by 6, that's £90,000, all from an ad spend of £2,500. And this is where you can really start to see the importance of conversion rate and how much it plays a factor into this. So what we want to understand here is, okay, perhaps maybe the lead to quote rate isn't as good as 30%, perhaps it's 20%. And you can start to understand how these numbers change now. And what this spreadsheet does is gives us a very realistic idea of the benchmark numbers that we need to be hitting. Perhaps the lead to sale is only 30%. Okay, you can start to see now, actually our return on investment isn't that good. Maybe the cost per click is just too high. And we need to understand which elements of the campaign and overall business we can lean on to produce better results. Because sometimes it's not always within the Google Ads campaign. Sometimes the cost per clicks are just this high and there's nothing we can do about it. So we have to pay more attention to improving our landing page conversion rates down here. So in this case, we'd need to get it anywhere upwards of 20%, which is, it's not an easy job to do that, but that's kind of where we would need to pay more attention. Or potentially bringing the cost per click down by, seeing, are there any other keywords we may be able to target? Sometimes there just isn't though. So that's a tough thing. Or perhaps we need to be able to contact our leads faster so we can bring that lead to quote percentage up. So if you're able to quote 50% of the leads coming in, you can see it changes the whole outcome of this performance forecast. And really, this is not one super accurate way to get an idea of exactly how much you're going to get from a campaign. It really is just a rough tool so that you can gauge different scenarios and just get some kind of idea of what to expect from a campaign and really understand, is my campaign going to be viable? Or what kind of profit can I expect? Or what's going to be a good starting point in terms of results for month 1, and where can we take it through month 2 and month 3? So what I'll do is I'm going to put a link to this spreadsheet down in the description below. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll have more content very similar to this coming out on Google Ads, landing pages, Facebook ads, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video and hope you enjoyed it. Take care.